Introduction: The Legend of the Bermuda Triangle. The Bermuda Triangle is one of the most enduring mysteries in aviation and maritime history. This vast region of the Atlantic Ocean, roughly forming a triangle between Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico, has been linked to countless tales of disappearing ships and airplanes. For decades, it has been called the Devil's Triangle, a place where compasses spin, communication systems fail, and vessels vanish without a trace. From a pilot's perspective, the Bermuda Triangle is not simply a spot marked on a map but an active air route. Commercial and private aircraft cross it daily, carrying thousands of passengers without incident. Still, the stories of vanishings like Flight 19 in 1945 or the Star Tiger in 1948 create a chilling backdrop every time pilots fly through the area. What makes the Bermuda Triangle fascinating is its combination of natural phenomena and unexplained events. Strange compass readings, sudden weather shifts, waterspouts, and strong magnetic anomalies are just some of the factors believed to affect flights here. While science offers explanations, such as methane gas eruptions or rapid storm formations, many pilots who have experienced the triangle firsthand recall moments that defy ordinary logic. As a pilot explaining this mystery, it's important to balance between myth and reality. While legends suggest supernatural forces, most incidents can be tied to human error, unpredictable weather, or navigational challenges. Yet, the aura of fear and mystery remains alive. Even seasoned aviators sometimes admit to feeling uneasy when their flight path cuts through this notorious stretch of ocean. In this series, we'll uncover the Bermuda Triangle from a pilot's viewpoint, breaking down history, theories, real incidents, and the truth about flying over one of the world's most infamous regions. Flight 19, the Vanishing Squadron. One of the most famous and chilling stories linked to the Bermuda Triangle is the disappearance of Flight 19. On December 5, 1945, 5 U.S. Navy Avenger torpedo bombers took off from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, for a routine training mission. The squadron was led by Lieutenant Charles Taylor, an experienced pilot, and included 13 crew members. What began as a simple navigational exercise soon turned into one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in aviation history. According to official records, Flight 19 reported compass malfunctions shortly after entering the area now associated with the Bermuda Triangle. Radio communications from the squadron grew increasingly frantic as Taylor's group became disoriented. Pilots claimed they couldn't recognize landmarks, and both compasses were giving conflicting directions. At one point, Taylor believed they were over the Florida Keys, but later insisted they were flying over the Bahamas. The most unsettling detail is the last transmission received from Taylor. "We can't tell where we are. Everything looks wrong. The ocean doesn't look as it should." After that, contact was lost. Despite a massive search involving more than 300 boats and planes, no wreckage from Flight 19 was ever found. Even a rescue plane sent to locate them vanished without a trace, adding another layer of mystery. From a pilot's perspective, Flight 19 is a nightmare scenario. Navigational instruments failing, worsening weather, and uncertainty spreading among the crew. Modern training emphasizes redundancy, GPS technology, and strict communication protocols to avoid such disasters. But in 1945, when reliance on magnetic compasses and dead reckoning was the norm, pilots were far more vulnerable to error and natural anomalies. The disappearance of Flight 19 cemented the Bermuda Triangle's reputation worldwide. For many, it wasn't just a tragic accident. It was proof that this patch of ocean holds secrets beyond explanation. Strange forces, magnetic anomalies, and instrument failures. Pilots who cross the Bermuda Triangle often talk about one of the most unsettling possibilities: instrument failure. Aviation depends on accurate readings from compasses, altimeters, and navigation systems. But within this mysterious region, reports of magnetic anomalies have fueled decades of speculation. The Earth's magnetic field is critical for flight navigation. Normally, compasses point toward magnetic north, which differs slightly from true north. But in the Bermuda Triangle, some claim compasses behave abnormally, pointing directly toward true north or spinning uncontrollably. For a pilot in the mid-20th century, before GPS was introduced, this could mean disastrous confusion. A simple miscalculation of a few degrees over hundreds of miles could lead to a plane being hopelessly lost. Scientific studies suggest that areas of natural magnetic variation do exist across the globe, and the Bermuda Triangle is one of them. Combined with rapidly changing weather patterns, these anomalies can create the illusion of mysterious forces at work. A pilot may suddenly find their instruments giving conflicting data, leaving them unsure of their true position over the ocean. There are chilling accounts from aviators who describe compasses swinging wildly, radio signals fading, and horizons becoming blurred by haze or storms. Imagine sitting in the cockpit, knowing you're responsible for passengers' lives, but the tools you rely on suddenly betray you. That sense of vulnerability is why the Bermuda Triangle continues to terrify even seasoned pilots. From a modern pilot's perspective, today's technology significantly reduces these risks. GPS, inertial navigation systems, and satellite communications ensure multiple backups in case one system fails. Yet, the mystery persists because so many earlier disappearances involved crews reporting failing instruments before vanishing. Weather caused by natural forces, sudden storms, and deadly weather. Another factor that makes the Bermuda Triangle so dangerous for pilots is the sudden and violent weather. The region sits in a part of the Atlantic Ocean known for unpredictable storms, hurricanes, and waterspouts that can appear almost without warning. For pilots, these weather events are a nightmare scenario. A plane flying smoothly under clear skies can suddenly be engulfed by a towering thunderstorm, with turbulence strong enough to throw an aircraft off course. In the early years of aviation, before the advanced radar systems we rely on today, pilots often had no way to see what lay ahead. By the time storm clouds appeared, it was sometimes too late to change course. Eyewitnesses and survivors of flights through the Bermuda Triangle have described skies that seem to close in within minutes. Winds rise sharply, visibility drops, and electrical interference often cuts radio contact. Waterspouts, essentially tornadoes on the ocean, are particularly dangerous. They can rip apart smaller aircraft or toss them into the sea. From a pilot's viewpoint, flying in such conditions is both mentally and physically exhausting. Imagine trying to control an aircraft while lightning strikes around you, instruments flicker, and passengers panic. Even modern commercial pilots, with all their training, admit that sudden tropical storms demand quick decisions and nerves of steel. Some researchers argue that many mysterious disappearances in the Bermuda Triangle can be explained by these microbursts and sudden storms. A plane hit by extreme turbulence or downdrafts might have little chance to recover, especially if visibility and instruments were compromised. Whether or not weather explains all the mysteries, there's no denying that the Bermuda Triangle lies in one of the most volatile and storm-prone regions on Earth, a place where even experienced pilots can quickly find themselves overwhelmed. Magnetic anomalies and lost navigation. Perhaps the most fascinating and frightening aspect of the Bermuda Triangle is its reputation for magnetic anomalies that confuse a pilot's navigation instruments. Pilots live and breathe by their compasses. When GPS fails or radio contact drops, the magnetic compass becomes the most reliable tool to keep a plane on course. But what happens when even that fails? Reports from both military and civilian pilots tell of compasses suddenly spinning wildly or pointing in the wrong direction while crossing the triangle. For aviators, this is a chilling experience. A compass deviation of even a few degrees can put an aircraft hundreds of miles off course over open ocean. Without clear landmarks below, it becomes almost impossible to know where you're headed. One of the most famous examples is Flight 19, the squadron of U.S. Navy bombers that vanished in 1945. Their radio messages included pilots saying their compasses weren't working, and that nothing looked right below them. Soon after, all 5 aircraft disappeared without a trace. For years, investigators have debated whether magnetic interference from the Earth's natural forces, or something more mysterious, was responsible. From a pilot's perspective, losing your navigation is a terrifying scenario. Imagine flying over endless stretches of water, clouds blocking the stars, radios fading out, and your compass spinning as if possessed. Even a small navigation error can quickly become fatal if fuel begins to run low. Some scientists argue that unusual geomagnetic fields exist in parts of the triangle, while others dismiss it as coincidence or instrument malfunction. But for pilots who have experienced it firsthand, the memory of instruments failing in the dead of night is something they never forget. In aviation, certainty is survival, and in the Bermuda Triangle, certainty seems to vanish. Theories, explanations, and the unending mystery. After decades of speculation, the Bermuda Triangle remains one of aviation's greatest puzzles. For every story of unexplained disappearances, there are scientists who argue that logical explanations exist. Yet, from a pilot's viewpoint, the sheer number of strange events in this region makes it difficult to dismiss as pure coincidence. One leading theory suggests human error is the primary cause. Pilots navigating long distances over open ocean may miscalculate fuel, course, or weather conditions, especially in earlier decades without advanced GPS. Sudden tropical storms, common in the Triangle, can form rapidly, leaving aircraft with little chance to escape. Another explanation points to methane gas eruptions from the seafloor. Scientists theorize that these eruptions could reduce water density, sinking ships, or disrupt aircraft engines flying above. Though not proven, the theory continues to intrigue researchers. On the other hand, believers in the paranormal argue that the Triangle is a place where time warps, magnetic portals, or extraterrestrial activity occur. These ideas may sound far-fetched, but they continue to fuel documentaries, books, and late-night conversations among pilots and enthusiasts alike. From my perspective as a pilot, what makes the Triangle so unnerving is not just the mystery itself, but the unpredictability. One flight across may be perfectly smooth, while another is filled with turbulence, compass errors, and static-filled radio calls. It's this uncertainty that fuels the legend. Even today, with advanced technology, aircraft occasionally report strange malfunctions in this part of the Atlantic. While no single theory explains every disappearance, the Bermuda Triangle continues to demand respect from aviators who pass through it. For travelers, it may remain a captivating tale. But for pilots, it's a reminder that even in an age of modern aviation,